Okay, from a lot of places. Primarily, Sampra, the South African Music Performance Rights Association. Zokuchazela ngayo in terms of how you can make money as an artist and why you have to register with Sampra and why my business at music may not register. And also to give you a brief background on I'm not only going to tell you about Sampra, but I'll also tell you about Sambro. I'll also tell you about the music industry because I've got the background there as well. I think I've liked so many talented people, even the choir that just stepped down. I mean, so beautiful, and it's young people. That's what I like about it, the mixture. You know, that sends a very big message. They chose to come here and join their friends and sing along together. So anyway, I'll start with Sampra. For your understanding, Sampra is a collecting society. So in a song, sometimes umuntu is not the person who played. So you'll find a composer and a performer. So Sampra collects royalties for performers, as well as backing singers, as well as featured artists. A composer, Ibiza. Sampra does not collect from our composers. Only collects for the performer, backing artists, featured artists. That's all. And then you've got the Sambro, which is the South African Music Rights Organization. That's the body that collects our royalties for your composer, as well as your publishing. So as an artist, even a group, you need to have both of these. You need to be registered with both of them because our collector royalties are different. So how do we collect those royalties? Music, get a KFC kind of music. That's artist music. Music is intellectual property. Belongs to record labels, it belongs to artists. Lama businesses now, I was saying this music work, but babangena bayomamela, bayahlala bahle, babayothenga skipper park, dlala music, baba entertained. They stay longer, the store, but they never tell. But when as an artist, you don't get anything. Umuntu makathenga music wakho, whether umamela ku Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, umamela for personal use, not for public performance. Personal use. Endlini, emotweni yakhe, or ekhaya. Mara maqale udlala ku tavern yakhe, esitoro sakhe, ku-restaurant yakhe, la kune-exchange of imali. That is public performance. Even if udlala i-Rise FM, it's public performance. Kumele abe ne-license ye-Sambro, kanye ne-Sampra. Now, as an artist, you don't need to pay anything to become a member. Sampra and Sambro are non-profit organizations. Their job is to collect your royalties and give it to you. And how do they get paid? We only take a percentage to run the company, to run all those logistics, which is collecting money. Yes, sir. Better. Yeah. So, as I was saying, those companies as an artist, you register with them, and then all you do, obviously, you give them your banking details, the name of your songs, who was featured on the songs, who was a session musician or anything, and then they are able to collect the database, which will be linked to the databases that are from our Q sheets, our radio station, as well as TV stations. So I suppose there's most good. How do we know which and everything? So I don't know if Nyaya F stereo. F stereo is a tracking system that tracks music on radio stations in South Africa, including television stations. Most businesses, now that obviously there's digital platforms about iTunes and but most of them, they will play radio stations that are relevant to their regions. So which makes it easier for us to link to have stereo. However, when it comes to your Spotify, iTunes, we have psychographics. We've also now linked up with the likes of Shazam in terms of getting psychographics where music was Shazammed, at what place, at what time. So it gives us a map of who was playing what, where. And then that works out in the system. It's actually even going to get better in the future. So it makes sense. It's unshazamable, which is a very hypocritical thing because your music needs to be commercial. If Mutaka was Shazam, support. So your music needs to be identifiable. Who was with Tolaga? Right. So do you understand the Sambro and Sampra concept? All right, great. I'll go back a little. Pumla mentioned, this thing in terms of AMA contracts, especially for young up-and-coming artists. And not only AMA artists, whether you are a session musician, you play guitar, or umuntu soprano who's doing backing singing and everything, there should always be a contract. Now, yes, we all know AMA contractors and the legal jargon and everything. There's nothing wrong for you to say, I'm going to team. Explain this thing, give me. Swat, it's not about explaining every single word I translate. It's about explaining to you what it is or I mean, that's it. By the time we start, so even if Gumgar Marco, no more in the studio, who's about Batula Gamnan, it is so, that's composition. Xasis of Pumu, what's now called about years ago. And seven man about Nag, who were popular about Kuluman. Tula sometimes tell me about my idea. But it is, I tell you, Tula Maraba, you let me say, it's a routines of Patana. Babati again now, who's was in the video. Was successful. And then, secondly, on the recording space, Niaz would tell about doing a record label. It's either signed by Sony, Carlo, Universal, or in. Guys, Nina, Abangan, I'm directing it actually to Abangan. Abadala, when the was understanding. We used to believe you have to have a record label. But release the city, bazok marketer, we have a radio station to Patali Payola, and everything. Forget all that. You have all the resources now. You've got internet, you've got Wi-Fi almost every place where you go. You've got digital platforms, you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram. You have absolutely no reason to fail. Or to fail the organizations that are Caesar. Because we are ones who register with Facebook, we are ones who DM our inbox, everything. But if you are so creative, why can't you go to take an initiative, go to take whatever music that you have, and with all this knowledge, and use those platforms? Not disrespect to our radio stations, but our radio stations right now, they go for what's popular. And you know where do they find what's popular? On social media. We no longer have a radio station that we are breaking this song. This is the first radio station to play this song. They don't do that anymore. We used to beg our radio stations when we sample and say, we're not going to give it to anybody else. We'll give it to Rise FM first. Marabasi Rise FM, you call up Walia for it. Oh, the Rise FM, Ninga Saule to Tulo and the Nats, no one was in Zola. It created conflict. But much must on social media. Everyone can listen. So the tables have turned. You've got the power. The power is in your hands for you to do whatever you want. Now that's on the recording side of things. So without bombarding you too much, I like it when people ask questions. What's eating you up the most? From the recording side, the legal side, the sample side? What would you like to know?
Rotman ukhuluma nge-session yase-studio la ukuthi if ngi-edda i-idea yami. Okay. Ukhulume ngase-studio la ukuthi let's say iphumula ubekise ngaphumula nalo uyanda ba-recorder but nginento lengiyivako leshodako. So angikhulumi i-idea yami nami kufuneka ngibe iphathi yale ngoma then ngisime ngale idea because mayiphumile kusasa ukuthi ngizokhuluma ukuthi lapha bengikhona akusho ukuthi uma ngakasayini. Ngiloko lengifuna ukuvisisa ngoba ngibantu njalo.
Okay. I used it as an example because sometimes we uhlala studio nabantu.
Yeah.
But now let's take it even in a professional environment. But there's nothing signed.
Yeah.
You got your own idea. Mhlawumbe a group of 4. When you're the 4th one. But the idea awufuni ukuyifaka because awukho sure ukuthi bazokufaka labantu kule group yabo kuyi-3 uzoba west 4 or not. There's nothing wrong with you upfront ubabuza ukuthi bafethu kahle are we a group of 4 or mina nje I'm just a hanger on.
Yeah.
Obviously it's going to make things tense ukuthi why usho kanjani uhlala unathi mos. If bayazi phela sometimes abantu ukuhlakanipha bayazi ukuthi lokufakaza izinto ezisebenzayo.
Okay.
But now ukuhlakanipha nithi.
Yeah.
Uthi now ngiyabuza but ngingathanda nami ukuthi ngifake something ukuthi izosebenzela i-group. But if ngifaka nami can I please have the same benefit as everyone else. You understand? Rather ube open bakwatele ngaleso sikhathi than ukuthi bakwatele mawusokhuluma ukuthi wena bawukhona wabathi to believe about it.
Yeah, yeah, ngire.
Okay.
Ngifuna ukuta ngema-royalty ukuthi uthola malini and how long does it take ukuthi wathole lama-royalty now and kuyahlukana ukuthi ma-music wakho adlalwa maybe ku-event ku-festival or mawudlala kubo-KFC njengobo-KFC like lama-royalty ayahluka i-amount uyothola the same amount. And how long do I get my royalties if in Sambro?
All right. I'll ask the man. He wants to know what are royalties. What after how long?
Yeah.
And what like. So I'll explain the process to you. If you register your song, let's say now in September, you will only start getting your royalties after 6 months. Sampra pays twice a year. So when it pays you, Sambro as well pays twice. When they pay you combined amount royalties, our businesses, as well as amount royalties, our radio stations, as well as TV stations. So they are not calculated the same. So I cannot give a figure to you 10 cents for one spin of your song. There's a system that has been created. As your song is picked, at least after 6 months, it's a realistic time to pick up what you in my radio, from my cue sheets and everything. And then also remember also about radio stations and the license from my businesses is also going to be calculated. But your music will also be there. So the system will then calculate how much money should go to you, how much money should go to the Bank. It will not be the same, but you'll get something.
On behalf of like my performing arts, for instance, my choir and not all of them which are registered Kasam. I heard Bukanya were Africa, they are going to perform at Devon. And finding out not all of them they are registered Kasam. So how do we help them with the cancer? Individually, not as a choir, because each and every single member, by the way, it needs to be registered Kasam. So how do we help them?
It's a brilliant question. I'm a choir. I'm not the easiest of groups to deal with. However, with such talent, I need a woman those of us with a firm now. So they need to all, right now, are they assigned to anyone? Formally, no one. Who's managing them? I heard the guy speaking, the one or the founder of Cathyville Africa, very well spoken. I loved what he said and everything. You know, maybe it would be nice to link them up with somebody that has the know-how and who will be able to help them keep this thing together. Because you know how our choir splits, you know. So, and keep them together. And then, if they get signed, for argument's sake, all of them needs to be listed. All of them needs to be listed as performers. And then those that compose, because remember sometimes, as much as they do their own rendition and add new things. So that's a new composition that needs to be added, even though it's not 100%. So all that needs to be managed because of those are the composers. Those are the ones that are going to get the composition royalty. They are going to get the performance royalty. So it needs to be managed in a very strict manner, but it's doable. Yeah. I answered that you get your royalties partially twice a year, right? Sambro and Sambro, right? Which part of it did I not answer for you?
How much, like, does it differ when, like, more what I use for festival, more
Okay.
how much?
I think that's the question that was hanging on me. Look, the fee will differ. I cannot give you a monetary value, much. However, remember, festival. If festival or if it's an event, it has to license. And you license at a different fee. So the fee of an event or the fee of a store, because it plays music, they're going to differ. So there's different scales on that, which is why it's not easy for you to understand it like flat out like that. However, the royalty that you get from your song being played on radio is also different, which is very minimal. It requires a lot of spins. In license, festivals or festivals, it's a once-off, depending. If the festival is once a year, it's going to be a one-day license. But for a KFC, a shopping mall, it's a year license. So they pay their license annually.
Let's talk about it. Asphalt.